everyone, it's Maria here from pepperlyrose.blogspot.com.au. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. Thank you all so much for joining me, and today I'm going to feature a teen mail card that I was requested to make by one of my viewers, Natalie R. She actually just requested more ideas for teen cards. So this is going to be my teen card for today, but for a mail. And I'm using the Epic Celebrations for that. This stamp set will only be around while stocks last until the 31st of March. So if you're interested in getting this stamp set before it goes, I highly recommend placing an order, not a dollar, an order worth $90 or more, and you're able then to pick this for free. So this is up until the 31st of March, guys. This is Sale-a-Bration. These are free items. So if I were you, I'd take advantage before these sell out forever. You will not get this back. So just letting you know. So today I'm going to be featuring the sneakers image from that this stamp set, and here's to an epic celebration. And I'm also featuring an oldie but a goodie Touches of Texture stamp set. This is a 2-set stamp set, so it's really good value for money and beautiful images on there. And I'm using the splatter. This is fantastic. So we'll get cracking on this card. So what I'll be using today is real red cardstock. This is A4 cut in half and then scored in half again. So I've already pre-scored the score line. So I'm just now going to burnish it with my bone folder. And I also have a piece of watercolor cardstock, okay? And I've just cut that down so it layers onto my card. So this will have this aspect, like a tent card, okay? So what you will need is an aqua painter. I'm going to go for the Brusho look without the brushos, because I don't have the brushos. I didn't order them. Sometimes I get a little scared of ordering new things, especially when they're powder form, but I've seen so many beautiful projects with it that I couldn't, might get it in my next order. But in the meantime, I'm going to do like a faux Brusho technique. I've seen another demonstrator from the UK do this, but I'm going to do it my way. She did a faux Brusho as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wet our cardstock. Just put a layer of water with our aqua painter. Okay, just wipe off the excess water from my table there. So it's all wet, and when you see it's wet, it curls up. But because it's watercolor cardstock, it can take the punishment. So what I'm going to be using is Tempting Turquoise, Daffodil Delight, and Real Red ink pads. And they will be my watercolor version of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press down the lid and get a pool of color on there. And I'm going to use that and just brush over the areas that I want brushed. So no right or wrong with this, okay? Just letting you know. You do it in any color combination you like. And however you want it done. So that's that one there. Now I'm going to use my brush to brush off the colour. A tissue. And the next one I'll go for is the Daffodil Delight. So I'll press that in. Get a pool of yellow on the lid. And if the colours bleed together, I don't care. That's kind of the idea. I want it to kind of bleed and meld together. So this is like a really messy thing here. Just get that lid again, press it down. So just cut, as much as you like. No right or wrong, whatever colour combination you want to use. I thought I'd go for bright primary colours, just so that this card will be ready for when my son goes to any birthday parties this year, and the age group will be around 10, 11, so it's kind of pre-teen sort of a look that I'm going for here. See, and as you can see, the colours kind of meld together. Alrighty, so I'll just wipe that lid off because there was a bit of blue in there. Alright, so clean up my brush, and I'm going to go for real red this time. And I'll just brush along there. So just colour and have the saturation of colour that you're after. No right or wrong. Okay, so that is that with that one. Alright, I'm just going to wipe that lid because it's a bit messy. Okay. Just wipe my... What I'm going to do is I am going to pass the heat tool through that. So it just looks like this, okay? So I'll just pass the heat tool over it and just to dry it up quickly. And then I'll show you what I mean with the fake brusho look, okay? So I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've just passed the heat tool over the watercolor paper, so it's now nice and dry. Now I quite like this look, like this, and you know, the brush strokes going in a particular direction because it just gives it a little bit more structure for me. And I know brusho is very, it goes all over the place, but I do like the splatter effect from the brusho. So what I'll be doing is I'll be adding my own brusho, and I'll be using this stamp here from the Touches of Texture stamp set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my embossing buddy over the top of that watercolor paper, just to get rid of any chance of any moisture being on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this up with my Versamark. And I'm just going to place it over the top in certain areas. But when I do that, I'm just going to give it like a little, make it swipe so that it gives a more streaky look, if that makes any sense, not just necessarily dots. So what I'm going to do is do this like that and just do it like that. And the reason why I'm using clear is it's so that it picks up the other colours whilst I'm at it. So let's do that there as well. So I'm inking that up with Versamark and do like that. Drag it across. Alright, now let's see how that turns out. So I'm going to get my clear embossing powder. I hope what I'm saying makes sense, but we shall see. Okay, so I've put the clear embossing powder. I'm not sure if you can see that, but we shall see how that turns out once I heat emboss it. So just give me a minute and I'll be back and I'll show you the heat embossed version of it. Hi, I'm back from heat embossing it. Now, it doesn't actually show up anything like I thought it would because of the watercolor paper, but it does leave an interesting kind of a texture. So I'll just shine this there so you can see. I'm not sure if you can see it properly, but it has like a shiny, roughed up effect. So what I've decided I'm going to do instead is I'm going to ink this up in Versamark again, but at the same time I'm going to be using my Real Red ink pad on top of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat emboss this so it gives it a more... Let's see just how it turns out. So this is like an experiment, so you can see for yourselves. Because of that roughed up texture on there as well, it'll be interesting to see how it falls. Like that. See that? So what I did was I got the Versamark, put the Real Red, and then just did like that. And I just dragged it a little bit so it looks like it's Brusho. See that? So I'll clean that up. And I'm going to do the same in Daffodil Delight and in Tempting Turquoise. So I'll just do that now, because I like the effect of it. I think it looks really nice. And now I'll do that. Okay, and I'm going to add Daffodil Delight. And I'll just drag it down. And ink it up in Daffodil Delight again. Makes it look really messy. Brusho's a lot faster, obviously, but I don't have Brusho, so I'm just going to stamp it. So that's how that looks. I like that. Clean this up. And I'm going to use the Versamark over the top of that again, and then in Tempting Turquoise. So let's do now that version. Pick that up. And I'll do that as well. So it looks like that, okay? So, stamp it again, maybe get a bit more. I'm going to add the clear emboss over the top of that and try and make it look a little shiny. I think that will look really nice. So I'll just clean that up. I always like to clean my stamps as I go because I always forget. I've learnt this lesson a long time ago. Clean as I go, because I learnt that things get mixed up. So I'm just putting embossing powder over the top of that. Clear embossing. So I'm going to now give it a flick, and I'll take it over and I'll heat emboss that, and then I'll show you how shiny it will look afterwards. Hang on a second. Okay, so I have just heat embossed this, and I'm not sure if this picks up, but because I used the Versamark and the actual ink pad, when I heat embossed it, it really brought up the colour. So if you can have a look here. See that? And it is a bit shiny, but I'm trying to get it to shine in the light there, but it's not working for me. So, but trust me, the effect is absolutely beautiful, and it has a really nice texture. I'm not sure. There you go. You see that shine now? And it has a beautiful effect. I quite like it. It's kind of Brusho, but not really, because of the, you know, the splatters and the way it streaks, which is kind of the way it falls. So this is my version of it. It's fake Brusho. I don't have it, but anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it on here like so. So I'm going to use my Fast Fuse, which is nice and strong, and we'll hold this down. And watercolor paper, as you're aware, is quite heavy. It's a heavy paper, and I'm going to put some in the middle too, just to make sure it really stays down. Okay, so I'll pop this now over here and flatten it out as much as I can because it does warp, but I don't mind that it has that warped look to it. So there we go. Just gives the card a bit of character. Okay, so that bit is now done, and I really love the way that looks. I think it looks fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to grab some Whisper white cardstock, and I'm going to get the big shot. I'm going to use the Stitched Shapes framelits, and we're going to cut out a circle. And I'm using the magnetic platform today, and a cutting plate. Pop my Whisper white cardstock there. And I'm just going to figure out which size is more appropriate for my sneakers. So I'll be using the second largest stitch shape framelit. So we get 4. So it's the second largest. Okay, so I'll just pop that there, and I'll cut that out. Okay. So that's how that looks. Love that. Then I'm going to grab my Real Red cardstock, and I'm going to cut out another circle that will layer on top of that one, and I'll be using the largest stitch shape framelit for that. And I'll cut that as well. And that looks fantastic as well in a colour. Look at that stitching, isn't that great? Okay, so I am done now with my big shot. I'm going to pop this away. So now I'll be having one that layers on top of the other, and I'll be popping that over there. I think that looks fantastic. So what I will do is grab my stamp with the sneakers. I'll get my Memento Tuxedo black ink. I'm going to ink that up. Okay, that turned out pretty cool. See that there? And in actual fact, I'm going to use my aqua painter and my Real Red cardstock. I'll just get some ink onto the lid. And hardly any came onto it, so I'm just going to add a bit of re-inker. Just one little drop. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that my aqua painter doesn't have a lot of water, and I'm just going to give it a quick, like that, and like that. Just colour that in. And just colour that in. Just use my tissue to dry that off a little. Okay, so now I'll do this part here. And I'll make sure that that's a little darker than the rest of it. Okay. Just add colour as you see fit. The secret to watercolouring, even with Memento, is to make sure that the aqua painter is not very, very wet, if that makes sense. If you can just get mainly ink on there, then you'll be right. So that's just as a rough. It doesn't have to be precise because it is, after all, watercolour. And yeah, it looks, when it's not so perfect too. I like that it doesn't look so, you know, overly perfect. I think it's great. So that's that all coloured. So I'll bring that up closer. See, it doesn't look too bad, and it didn't even buckle. See that? It did really well. So the secret is give it a little bit more time than what I did to let the Memento dry. And then you can actually watercolour with it. I've had no issues with that at all. So, but the secret is not to oversaturate with your aqua painter. Make sure that it's relatively dry with minimal moisture. And I know that sounds a bit hard, but it can be done. And using re-inker on top of your ink pad is also great too. So what I'll do now is add some fast fuse on the back of that stitch shape. Out. And I'll just put that over the top there. And now I'm just going to put that onto my card like that. And before I do that too, I'm going to add a sentiment with Memento, and it's the "Here's to an Epic Celebration." And I'm going to add that just up there. Now I did do some heat embossing on there, so I'm not sure if it will take, but we'll see. So I've just inked that up with Memento ink. And I'm just going to line that up as best I can, and I'll do it right on the corner. Just going to hold it down for a few seconds. And that turned out absolutely awful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some more Whisper White, and I'm going to cut that out and place it on there as, again. So I'll just get my Memento ink again. Okay, and I'm just going to put that right down the bottom there. And stamp it with my Whisper White. Okay, that's better. All right, we'll just grab some scissors. We're going to do a rough cut. As close as possible, and cut that again. Because it's such a small piece, you can actually cut quite straight, which is fantastic. So that's my little square there. But what I might do with that is I'm going to layer it on some real red. So I've got some scrap here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fast fuse, okay, and then I'm going to place it right on the corner here, and I'll leave myself enough border down the bottom and on the side so that when I cut it, it will be, you know, pretty close. So I'll leave myself that much. There. And I'll do the same on that side and just cut straight up. And I think that actually worked out quite well. Because it's such a small piece, you can get away with it. That's a little bit off, so I'm just going to trim that down just a tad, and there we have it, all done. So I'm going to put that over there, and I'll place that over there. So I'll just grab my dimensionals and I will put that up. Can't believe I forgot the dimensionals. I always forget something. Not good. But I like the brightness of this, these colours. They suit, you know, most age groups, but because my son's only 10 and his friends are around that age group, I think this will look nice for them. And put 2 there. And out. There, I'm going to put 1 in the middle there, just to make sure that it doesn't collapse in the middle. And we'll just take that backing off, and I'll just line that up nicely here, and we'll take off all these backings. This is a very simple card, but it's really, like, the effect's really nice, and it has that bit of shine as well from the clear embossing. So they're all done, and I'm just going to place that right there, just a little bit more towards the middle, just so we can see a little bit more of that effect there. And that is our card all done. So just have a look there. You can see the shine. I'm not sure if you can, but it turned out really nice. I really like that. So I hope you do too. Very simple, just using watercolor paper and your aqua painter and these. See, so nice and simple. Your ink pads do go a long way if you use them in this way as well. And if you don't have framelets, make your own, especially when they're like a nice small square. You can get away with that with your paper snips as well. So please do take advantage of Sale-a-Bration before it goes. I'd hate to see you miss out and making these really cool cards with this stamp set. I think that will be my last project with the Epic Celebrations, unless I come up with something else. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today's project, and do take advantage of Sale-a-Bration. And also, if you've been thinking about joining Stampin' Up, do consider it, because this is a great time to join. So if you join with Stampin' Up now, not only do you get these items for free with every $90 purchase, but if you join, you get 2 additional free stamp sets up to a value of $174 for free during Sale-a-Bration. And if you host a party, or if your personal sales of your own sales, that is $400 or more, you're able to get $40 extra in stamping rewards. So that means you can pick $40 worth of free items on top of your $400 party. And if you join, you get 2 free additional stamp sets, any ones you want. So yeah, please do consider joining my team if you'd like to join Stampin' Up. I'd really love to have you on board. And also, please consider getting these Touches of Texture stamp set. These come in two cases. Fabulous set, can be used for anything. Who knew that splatter could also be used on tin cards too? Why not? So there you go, Natalie. I hope you like this idea. Nice and simple, but I think very effective and wow. Can be used either for a boy or a girl too. So this is a unisex one if you want to go down that road. So yeah, I hope you like this card. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. And if you don't have brushos, by all means, use that stamp set and just drag it along and you've got yourself a nice brusho effect on your card. Thanks guys for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye for now.